Hello from Bali. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about Gestalt Psychology and let's start with the definition.
When we start about psychology or economy, I was always afraid to pronounce my statements because so many people think that they ready to talk about this. Gestalt psychology, this is type of thinking that you have something to do in your future to redeem what you have not done before. For example, you are not liking to cook some dish, or maybe you couldn't deal with some employee, some colleague, and so on. And if you will have the similar cases in different field of your life, some people will tell you, okay, you should close this gestalt. So if you, for example, couldn't deal with colleagues which is, for example, 10 years older or younger, if you will have such a problem with your neighbors or with someone who play in your team, soccer team or hockey team, people will say, okay, you should close off those gestalt. So if you will deal with your colleague, you also will be successful in conversation or in dealing with your teammate. The same, for example, with girl. For example, you break relation with one girl, with second girl, and first was red hair, second was, I don't know, a bit fat one, and after everyone will say, okay, you have not closed your gestalt, you should find another redhead girl, another a bit fat girl, and to leave this problem together with them. So you should not just бросить, to give away.
Break.
You could not just break. If you have unfinished deal, they all will follow you until you will complete them.
And maybe from some point of view, I do believe, like we also might be designed, or like the things that we design, they also might be looking like a computer system. So it seems to me that like when you have a gestalt, you actually allocate the space, whether it's like your soul, your brain, or whatever, and you can't really do anything unless it's closed, and you might not be even aware unless you do like the disk scanning or like memory scanning, so that like you say, oh, actually it's quite big, this is the shape and the form, and then you need to close it. So how to deal if like we take this approach by identifying those things, how to deal with figuring out the shape and form of your desire, of your like wishes, in order to maybe prioritize and deal with them.
You should look backward and you should find something what is similar to your current problem. For example, you're quitting your job because you don't like your boss. And when you do it in this time, you should understand, is there something in the past was familiar to this case? And if you will find that all bosses you was working for are not pleasant for you, this is not about bosses, this is about you. For example, you will go to the market and you will buy a watermelon and it would be not a good one and you will quarrel with the seller. But for example, if it will happen monthly or on weekly basis, you should think maybe you should have a better mood when you are going to the market. And I am not so happy to talk about this because I like I am concept. In I am concept, I am a creator of my future, and I could change market, I could change seller and everything. But in Gestalt psychology, I am not allowed. I am not advised to do something else before I will close my previous deals. So it's like you should close all the door behind you before you will enter a new one.
Well, and I do believe then there is like a little room for collision, because like what I've noticed from my little experience, in like the moment time goes by, certain things just will fade away, because probably you could saturate your life or maybe enrich with so many events, so that it's not really about looking into the past, it's like a trying to deal with the future. So how Gestalt could explain this thing, that like something might be like being in a fog of war in front of you, and you might be excited about this, and something actually might be going for far and further distance.
I will tell you my opinion, but it will be an unpopular one. For me, it's like a toy, psychological toy. If you have something in life, there is an anecdote in Russian language, something like this. There were two hamsters, and they were fed up, and they were standing close to their, I don't know how to say, nara, pit.
Pete or
They,
Hall. Hall is also a
hole,
good one.
yes, correct. They were standing close to their hole, and they were so lazy, and they were saying, "What is the purpose of our life?" And second hamster would answer, "I don't know the purpose of our life, but it was not a question when we were hungry." The same with Gestalt. If you have a really tough life, you will never think about the sense of everything happening. You will just try to survive. But if you are a lazy one, if you are a rich one, if you have so many time and if you are unlucky and happy, you will find someone who will explain what is wrong in your life. And sadly, but you will find someone who for money will say that, okay, you have something left in behind and you should deal with it.
And maybe I'll try to take like another leap and try to look into it from a different point of view. So when I was interacting with you, what I noticed is you more about like accomplishing things, whether they're like a big, small, or whatever, and not really putting anything aside. So it's about the count. And I also noticed that in whatever ways in different people, because they never delay, they just never put things for tomorrow, again like on a different degree. So whether it has something to do with the gestalt, or maybe it is like a way of thinking, which apparently could be part of the psychology, part of the mindset.
Who knows? It's a quite good question. When you have all accomplished life deals, it's you are ready to die from one point of view. But from another, if you close all you have opened, in those cases, you have nothing spoiled. You have good relation, you have good job, you have good project. So it depends from your motivation. My motivation, you are quite right, to make a count. Okay, maybe it would be not all cases good. Maybe all notebooks would be written in a well-shaped form, but anyway, it would be done. And I always say it is better to done that to make it good. And when you are trying to correct your life, I think it's much better to look forward and to make some experiment and to find a better way instead of digging in the past and thinking what was my anchor.
Well, I do believe this actually was a really nice segue explaining how knowing about Gestalt could help to make this world a better place. And we review the skill and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.